All right, live. Live looks live. I think I'm live. Looks like the audio looks pretty decent, and gonna get started with talking about that Brad Pitt won the poll. Okay, I took a poll and Brad Pitt won. It's kind of weird, right? But I took a poll on my community page about what video would people next want to see, and Brad Pitt won. So, so basically, the Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie divorce. It's been going on. So basically, Brangelina, right? So Brangelina, obviously, Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt. Their divorce has been going on for 5 years. 5 years. Well, now it's more in the custody stages. You know, they've been actually divorced for a little while, but they are still litigating. And we have the case access and the information from the public record of the County of Los Angeles. And a little bit later, I'll kind of go through some of it because there's some different ones I wanted to look at today. I also want to talk a little bit about Kanye, so Kim Kardashian and Kanye's divorce, because we've had that video up for a while, gotten lots of comments and lots of information. So I thought that would be kind of a cool one to go into as well, because obviously there's always stuff that's going on. There's always things that are coming up, and people know things happening. Obviously with Kanye, there's always something new happening because of, Kanye West is interesting. He's an interesting guy, and there's things that are going to be happening. There's things that are going to be going on in their situation. So we got Kanye, we got Brangelina, and then finally wanted to talk about Dr. Dre's divorce as well, because that one is even, that one's huge. They got this massive trial going on later on this month. I think it's actually next month, but they got this huge trial. This case has been going on forever. She got like an award of, I think, $300,000 in temporary support that is now going into something like $2 million a year in temporary support. And that's one thing I'd say on some of these videos about celebrity divorces is some of the numbers are just astronomical. To think about Dr. Dre, and all the cool music he's put out and all the stuff that's gone on over the years. But the numbers are crazy, right? $2 million a year in temporary support. And there's like a prenup too. There's a whole other thing for Dr. Dre's divorce from his wife. But a lot of the same issues in these celebrity divorces are in the same as normal people divorces. I'm a divorce lawyer. I've been a divorce lawyer for 15 years. This is what I do day in and day out. Every single day, I deal with divorce cases. I deal with people retaining me to help me with their children, help me with the litigation, help for division of property. So as a divorce lawyer in Florida, in the United States, as we have viewers from all over the world, so I only practice in Florida. This isn't legal advice. I gotta, make sure that everybody understands that. And thank you to the viewers that are here. And if you want to ask any questions or you have anything in the chat, feel free to go ahead and chat and let me know. But some of the things I wanted to talk about today is, like I said, Dr. Dre's divorce. Just that thing is massive. And I got the public record, pulled up the case summary from Los Angeles County, because it's public record. Like all this stuff is on there, and all of the hearings, the stuff that's going on in October and November and December. And then I have the case summary also for Kim Kardashian and Kanye West. So that one's a little less is going on in that case. But I think Kanye is pretty busy with, putting out his last album, Donda, and Brangelina, and that's one of the ones that I want to talk about, because a lot of people really haven't been talking about Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt's divorce. But it's, this thing has been going on for 5 years. 5 years. And I've had cases that have gone on for years. And as a divorce lawyer, you see these things go on for years sometimes, and that's not normal. Most of my cases that I've had, 6 months or, like a year. But I mean, to see all these multiple celebrity divorces that are going on for years and years and years, and it's just crazy litigation, just exponential motions being filed. I mean, the attorney's fees, I can't even fathom what the attorney's fees are in some of these cases right now. So, especially Dr. Dre's divorce. I mean, that one is just absolutely massive. I can't even, I think it's like $5 million in legal fees that they were requesting, on a temporary basis, because they're challenging the prenup. So when you're challenging a prenuptial agreement, there's just a whole massive amount of stuff that goes into it. One of the biggest prenup challenges that I've seen, I wasn't personally a part of it, but the Los Angeles Dodgers divorce and the prenup that was associated with that. And that was like months of litigation. A lot of this stuff comes out of Los Angeles and out of California. Even though I'm not a California attorney, I'm a Florida lawyer. But, some of these cases just seem to be coming out of California, and, there's a lot of interesting stuff in a lot of these higher, $1 billion cases. But like Dr. Dre's, that's $1 billion case. They're fighting over $1 billion estate. Kim Kardashian, Kanye West, another $1 billion case, with his shoe line, basically is worth almost like $1 billion. And with Skims, Kim Kardashian's company, that's like another $1 billion. So, the money seems like almost like monopoly money, right? I mean, it doesn't seem like real, to that extent, but they're still having a lot of the same issues that just normal everyday people going through divorce are having. And they're fighting over $1 billion rather than $1 million or $100,000 or $10. But they're still fighting over it, and they're still doing a lot of the same things that just normal everyday people are doing in their divorce. Even Brad Pitt, even Angelina Jolie. I'm thinking about their movie. What was it, Mr. and Mrs. Smith or something? And they're like spy agents in CIA or something. Yeah, but I don't know if that's when the relationship started or what. But they're exceptional actors, and this is what they do, actors and actresses, and they're great at their craft. But when it comes to just something like a divorce, they act like everyone else, and they're in fear, they experience anxiety, they experience devastation and grief. They're having to deal with what's best for their kids. Like Brad Pitt, in one of the statements that he put out, is obviously he's wanting to make sure that he's looking out for the best interests of the children. So he's trying to make sure that he's putting the children first. And the big thing that just happened, it was about a month ago, was Angelina Jolie. She went in. I'm going to pull up the case summary, so just give me 1 second. But I got the case summary here for Angelina Jolie Pitt versus William Bradley Pitt. And this was filed back in 2016. So September 19th, 2016. And right now it's September 6th of 2021. I mean, that's almost 5 years later. And it's a dissolution of marriage case with minor children. So basically a divorce, and they got kids, and they got a bunch of kids. So they have a bunch of kids that they have to figure out what to do, and they're still actually fighting about stuff too. And I'll go into that a little bit because they have a hearing coming up later on this month. So on September 22nd at 8:30 a.m., they will be, I think Los Angeles County, I don't know if they're doing it as Zoom. I know they have some type of a little bit different way that you go into hearings. It's not like they're showing up. You know, a lot of courthouses are, you know, not open right now, but they are doing electronic and different types of virtual appearance. So you do different things to log into this database, and you'll see it a lot with, well, you know, if you look at it, and again, because it's public record, if you look at this LA Court Connect and all these different things to connect to the courts and to connect to the website to be able to go in front of the judge. So, you know, do I think they're going to be, do I think Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie are going to be there in person? I mean, I don't know. I mean, maybe they'll be there. Maybe they'll be hanging out, coming in. But for the most part, they'll probably just, you know, show up by virtually. And, you know, thank you for those that were watching. And again, anybody else, I think I might have missed something, but thank you, anybody else. And if you want to comment, go ahead and comment and let me know if you have any questions, because I'm going through this kind of quickly. But for Brangelina's divorce, and again, it's still considered divorce even though they are divorced. And I'm gonna grab a little bit of water because it's good to stay hydrated. It's good to, especially when you're talking a lot. And I don't like to talk a lot. I'm a talker. I talk. I'm a lawyer, so that's what lawyers do. We talk a lot. So in their case, they had a whole big long thing that occurred for a while, because basically the divorce was over with to a certain extent. It was kind of finalized in 2019. It was just still a kind of like a custody battle that was still going on, and they had a private judge that was dealing with it. So basically, there's this, a judge was disqualified in this whole mess of a situation that, you know, was, I believe in July was when all that happened. So it looks like Brad's directed his attorneys to appeal the court's decision and the disqualification. And it, you know, if he appeals it, I mean, that's his right. Everybody has a right to ask a higher court to look at it, you know, basically what Angelina Jolie was asking for. And she was asking for the judge to be disqualified. She didn't feel that, you know, she felt that there was basically some issues that had come up, and I'm not going to get into the nitty gritty of it. You know, and from my sources here, and just looking online, and, you know, basically Brad Pitt had asserted, you know, there was technical issues, and that was the reasoning for it. So I haven't read the order, haven't read the pleadings, but, you know, from my understanding, just, you know, just kind of perusing online, it appears that the, you know, it was more like a procedural and issue that came up, and that was a reason for disqualification. So there's lots of different reasons for things to not go your way in divorce court, and sometimes procedural things do come up, and sometimes you just say, you know what, you know, I am not going to deal with that. You know, from that perspective, I'm going to ask a judge to take a look at it, and to you go through the process of starting the appeal process. So so let's go back to here. So like I said before, I did a poll and Brad Pitt won. I asked, what should the next video be? And I asked, and the poll basically came back that a celebrity divorce. So we were kind of neck and neck on the poll, and then celebrity divorce that's been going on for a while, and lots of different issues inherent in it. It was so Brad Pitt won the poll. So that's what this video is about. Basically, They met on the set, and I had said that before. I thought it was, and they met on the set of Mr. and Mrs. Smith, and that was an interesting movie. That was pretty cool, and I just remember that scene in the kitchen. They're running around, they're running after each other, and they just both find out they're like secret agents and stuff. But he was still married to Jennifer Aniston at that point, and then in March of 2005. Brad Pitt and Jennifer Aniston filed for divorce after 5 years of marriage. And by January of 2006, Brangelina announced they were expecting their first child. So 2007, they adopted Pax from Vietnam and announced another pregnancy in February 2008. They had twins. 2010, there was rumors the couple were husband and wife, but it wasn't until 2012 that Angelina Jolie started wearing basically a massive $1 million engagement ring. So, the actual marriage itself wasn't until August of 2014, and all 6 of their children were in the ceremony. So, August of 2016 is when the divorce happened, though. So it wasn't. So actually, they were together for a while. They were not. It wasn't like So Brangelina, it was a short marriage, I guess you could say, but they had been together for a long period of time, and they had been together, and they had obviously, they had 6 kids. So. And they made a joint statement, and they wanted to have the documents sealed. And this case is one of those that you're not going to be able to just like easily pull up the actual documents themselves. When I pull up the public record, that's like a title, So and in theirs, it's specifically, it's like everything is like sealed, documents sealed, under seal, seal. Not the singer seal, even though he's amazing, but it was everything was sealed. So basically everything was confidential, and they had agreed to do it because they wanted to protect their privacy and their children's privacy as well. So, but again, what's public record is the titles of what was filed and when it was filed. So, and you can see the different, like on 7/23/2021, there's a notice, of Court of Appeal opinion disqualifying Judge Odekirk and vacating any orders made on or after August 7th of 2020. That was filed by the petitioner. And then the appeal, 7/23/2021, opinion received, basically the response due in 60 days. Again, it appears that it's under appeal right now, and they've started that process. And every case is a little bit different. If you're going to appeal something, it's not like, most cases don't get appealed. Most divorces, it's generally when there's very specific issues that you feel that there's been an error, and that's the whole system, in the United States with. In our system of laws and our judicial system, it's about checks and balances, and that, this is the trial court, basically. I'll say trial. Every state's a little bit different. I went to law school in New York, so it's like, they have like, Supreme Court and this court and Court of Appeals. And it's like, sometimes some states, it sounds like the lower court is actually the higher court. It's a little bit confusing, but let's just say trial court, and then appeal court, and then Supreme Court, so like 3 levels of it, of how these normal divorce decisions would be handled. And like in Florida, it would go to a divorce trial in front of the trial judge, a circuit judge. And again, that's just a specific term for Florida cases. And then if it's appealed, it goes up to the District Court of Appeals, and then it goes up to the Florida Supreme Court. So similar in a lot of other states, and in the federal government as well, you're dealing, in these federal cases, you're dealing with, the federal courts and the courts of appeal, and then it goes up to all the way up to the United States Supreme Court if it gets to that point. Most cases do not get to, United States Supreme Court. Most cases do not get to the Florida Supreme Court, and in California as well. Most cases don't go all the way up to the California Supreme Court. So most of them stay in the trial court. Every once in a while, you'll appeal a decision, you'll appeal a final order, you'll appeal something, to a step above. So basically, they'll look at everything, make sure that, everything's cool. Nobody, nothing, happened that shouldn't have happened. And, as his team appears to be, stating that there's more of a procedural issue and reason for an appeal. So in July of 2020, there were different, there was some kind of rumors, going on, but he was spending time with his children and everything seemed to be okay. And then it seemed like things flared up. And again, this has just been going on for a while. There's been this whole, investigation and things going on of trying to figure out what to do with the children and what the child custody will be. And basically now, he's wanting joint custody, and there's all these allegations and all these different things that have, surfaced, and there's lots of different articles online. I'm not gonna go through, the specifics, but if you want to read, through some of them, Vanity Fair has, a good article, explaining some of the different things and some of the different, allegations and stuff that was going back and forth. But basically, that's not the purpose of this video. The purpose is that, this battle, and this is a custody battle, like in the purest sense, that's been going on since 2016 and to 2021, especially because, a 6-year, 5-year custody battle that's not even like close to being done. Because if you're going to appeal it, and then they also, like I said before earlier in the video, that there's a video, or there's a hearing coming up at the end of this month, and this has like nothing to do with the custody component, but the assets, obviously, as I'm sure you could probably guess, that Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie have a good deal of assets. I think that's pretty safe to say. I don't think anybody would, unless they've just absolutely squandered everything from all of the movies that they've made. All that Ocean's 11 money is gone, and everything that Angelina Jolie has done as well. If it's all gone, I doubt it. So their assets are substantial. But there is a Chateau Miraval. It's where Brangelina, they got married, and home to a beautiful vineyard, and it created this award-winning rosé. And Angelina Jolie had a buyer interested in the land, and basically she was trying to sell it, and there's been a hearing set for September to determine the next steps for the chateau. And that's from Vanity Fair. So again, if you have some more, well, read up a little bit more on that. They did an article earlier this year about the chateau, and wanting to basically force that sale. So they're still dealing with some of these asset issues, but it seems like the main issue is the kids, and that is very similar in so many cases that it's not usually as much the assets, whether you have again $100 million or $1 billion or 100,000 or $10. Usually people are going to figure out the asset side of it. Not always easily. Sometimes it takes longer to figure it out, and there's different reasons why. Right now, anybody that reads the news or sees anything sees it. The housing market is just wow, pretty intense right now. So that creates all kinds of different issues in a lot of divorce cases. So sometimes good issues, people's property values are like going through the sky. So there was a time, I was a divorce lawyer, during the market crash when everything, was like you couldn't sell a property, you couldn't give it away basically, and so many houses and homes were, actually negative equity rather than positive equity, and that is no longer the case. It is right now the case that houses are, substantial equity in a lot of these houses. And that makes it to where people have to make a decision on what they're going to do, if they're going to stay, if they're going to sell the house, if they're going to try to buy the other side out of the house. So they have those decisions that they want to make. And that's just in, most of the divorces, going on right now in so many states because of, this real estate market. It's definitely the hottest it's been in a very long time. Like I said, going through, 07, 08, I'm in that crash time and being a divorce lawyer. And we're having to, divide liability and negative equity, basically debt, instead of actual equity. That's tough. I think this time is much more preferable for most people to be dividing equity. So I normally will tell people, and this is just from my experience as a Florida divorce lawyer, if you have a house, and if you have a house that you're looking to sell, or even if you're not looking to sell it, this is one of those times when it may not be a bad idea to test the market to see what's going on, because there are so many options and opportunities out there for people that, usually I'll just tell my clients, at least take a look, see what's out there. If you decide you don't want to sell the property, that's fine. But going back to celebrity divorce, because, while I was talking about asset division and just kind of like, I'll call it just normal divorces, there's celebrity divorces and then there's normal divorces. But again, we're talking about a lot of the same stuff. We're talking about asset division and dealing with parenting issues in both of these types of cases. And you're dealing with grief and fear and happiness and sadness and all the different things in both the celebrity cases and in the normal people cases as well. So, so going back to Brangelina, so Brad Pitt, Angelina Jolie, they're still figuring out the assets, figuring out that part of it. Even though it's 5 years later, they're still figuring out some of these different things, but their focus has been the kids. So it will end at some point. It's not going to go on forever. They're not going to, I've never seen, and I've said this in other videos before, like if you've found a case, if you found a divorce that has never ended, well, then show me. Because even though sometimes people feel like it's like never ending, it's never going to stop. And I've felt that way, obviously, as a divorce lawyer for 15 years. I have felt that way with certain clients. It's like, man, this just feels like, so sometimes even when the divorce ends, maybe there'll be a modification, or maybe there'll be, relocation, or there will be, all different types of things that will come up during the context of the divorce. And then later on, things will come up afterwards, and it won't, so it just feels like it doesn't end. And it feels like there's no, discernible stopping point. In Brangelina's divorce, there was a discernible stopping point because they were divorced, in 2019, but they still have all of these other issues that are going on. They still have not resolved the children's issues with their 6 kids. Six. And that's a lot of kids to figure out. That is a lot of children to make sure that you're figuring out what is best for them. And it's tough. And with celebrities, again, that's a difference. If we're talking about the normal people divorces and the celebrity divorces, their lives are so much different. And all these different celebrity divorces that I've analyzed and looked into, and I myself have represented, some higher profile, higher network athletes and things of that nature. So I've been able to see it from the side of being a divorce lawyer that sees these types of situations, not necessarily, $1 billion, Dr. Dre's divorce or like, Jeff Bezos's divorce or Bill Gates, but, I've seen it, and it is something that you need to, make sure that when you're going into it, that you understand what the issues are, and that's in anybody's divorce, and that's in anybody's case. And I feel like somewhere along the way, Brad Pitt, Angelina Jolie just kind of lost sight of it, because it seems like they were ready to be done and ready for it to be over with, and that's usually what happens in a lot of these. Usually, it's just not an unending, reason for a divorce. Usually, it just ends at some point, and for some reason theirs just hasn't ended. 5 years have gone on and it has not stopped. So obviously, and if it's primarily dealing with custody issues right now, and that's the reason why they are still litigating about this, and still having, again, the hearing later on this month is more about property, more about the chateau, less about the kids. But I'm looking through the case record right now and the case summary, and just it's extensive. The litigation is it just keeps going, and I've definitely had cases that have had this type of a docket. It's called a docket. So a docket is you go online and you can look at, because divorce cases and family law cases, so not just divorces, but family law, paternity, custody, child support, stuff is public record. A lot of people don't know that either. And when they get into the case, and sometimes they're like, oh my gosh, like all my stuff is out there. Like that's, so a lot of courts have made, they've tried to work on the identity theft side of things to try to make sure that it's, there's, you're not putting out social security numbers and credit card numbers and bank account numbers and, all this identifying information about children. That's something in Florida. They did a really, really great job of making sure that, the kids' information is out of the court file, like their date of birth and their full name. We use initials for the children. But I mean, this stuff is all on the internet. The interwebs, holds so much of this information. So when I log into Los Angeles County, the Superior Court of California, County of Los Angeles, when I log into their case access, and like I said, I mean, it goes on for pages and pages and pages and pages and pages. I mean, this to me just like signifies like, I don't know a number, but I'm guessing, millions of dollars in attorney's fees. When you're dealing with 5 years of litigation and the type of, higher level, extraordinarily higher level, and they're also having to make sure that everything is confidential. So usually, because it's public record, so usually when something is filed, it's out there for the public, it's up for newspapers and journalists and media to be able to consume and to be able to look at, as it is public record. And I mean, I guess people have issues with that. It's just what it is. You're dealing with the court system, and the court system is public, and it's public for a reason. So there, again, talked about before about those checks and balances. If it wasn't public record, it makes it harder to appeal it, makes it harder to go all the way up to like a Supreme Court. And that's just kind of our system of law that we have. And being public record, we're able to go into the docket. So that's the term for what I go into, and I can, review this information and to see their case information, and I can see what has been filed. And this is what I do in a normal divorce as well. Like if somebody calls me up and they say, I got a divorce, I need to talk to you about it. I'll pull up their docket. I'll pull up their online docket to see what's going on, what's happening in their case. And I'll go through the different pleadings and go through the different things that have been filed, go through the different court orders. And a lot of times I'm just looking at the titles. And I know that sounds like, what's the title going to do? And I'll tell that to people a lot of times during consultation. I'm like, I'm not looking at your actual document. I'm just looking at the title. But I've seen thousands of these things. I've had over 1,000 cases. Like I kind of know what each of them means, and I have an idea like what is going on, even without seeing inside of the document itself. So, when I see a docket and the Dr. Dre one, because we're primarily today talking about these 3 celebrity divorce cases: Brangelina, so Brad Pitt, Angelina Jolie, Kanye. I don't have a there's not a cool name for Dr. Dre's one. Why isn't there? Why didn't they get a cool name? I mean, it's Andre Young and Nicole Young. Dre Day? No, Drake, Nicole. I don't know. Well, if anybody wants to suggest a name, that would be helpful. But so there was 3. I guess that joke didn't go over very well because I think I lost some people that were watching it. But I mean, it wasn't a bad joke. I mean, I was just looking for, you got Brangelina, you got Kanye. So why doesn't Dre and Nicole Young have, a term like, like something cool, like, and like Ben Affleck and Jennifer Lopez, Benifer. I don't know. So anyways, so you got these 3 major celebrity divorce cases that we're talking about. I think I went too much on that topic because, like, people watching it just started. You could just see people being like, okay, this guy, he's a moron. He's a moron. I guess you can call me a moron. That's fine. But segueing on that, my name is William Foley. My name is William Foley. I'm a Florida divorce lawyer. This is not legal advice. This is legal commentary. This is, for entertainment purposes. And clearly I'm talking about celebrity divorces. I am not a licensed California attorney. I am a licensed Florida attorney. So don't take this as legal advice. This is for, commentary about the legal system and about these different cases for education and for entertainment purposes. So let's get back to Brangelina. And I think I'm going to be wrapping up Brangelina a little bit and then moving on to Kanye. But basically, they got, it's likely there's like teams of attorneys working on this stuff and working on their case. And that makes a lot of sense. But divorce is the ultimate equalizer. So we talked about before, these are celebrity divorce cases, but the similarities with kind of, just everyday people, people that I represent, just kind of normal people. There's so many similarities to these different types of cases. We're just people. So at the end of the day, it's harder. Is it harder? And I don't know. I guess this is a question, because I don't know. I'm not a famous actor or actress. I'm not a famous actress. That is a fact. Is it harder for them to find love and happiness, because of their lifestyle? It's busy. I mean, sometimes people will want drink TB12. Water bottle, some electrolytes. Anyways, they live a busy, fast-paced lifestyle, and they're always constantly on the move. When I talked about it in the Kanye video that I did, and they're like flying all around. They're constantly doing different things. And, parenting is tough. But parenting's tough enough for everybody, for normal people, for anybody. But, obviously for celebrities in this different lifestyle, it's different. So there's probably, extensive periods of time where they're not able to see their children and probably each other, and they probably are having to, live on different continents. I've dealt with lots of cases where people are, have these long distance relationships, marriages that can go on for years and years and years and years, and not be in the same country, not be in the same state, not be in the same town. And I'm venturing to say that there's some of these celebrity marriages that are kind of similar because of just their travel calendar and having to leave on a moment's notice. Like if they get a great role in a TV show or a movie or whatever, I mean they got to be out. They got to go, and they got to go. And there's a lot that goes into it. Now there's a lot of time when obviously they can spend time with each other. They can just be around each other. And obviously they fell in love with each other at some point. With Brangelina, I don't know. Brad Pitt was married to Jennifer Aniston, so I don't know when they, fell in love and became close and decided that they wanted to use their children, have children, but at some point they did decide that it was more than obviously just kind of a fleeting actor-actress relationship that happens. I mean, it's a very real thing. And I saw some comments as well on the Kanye video that this happens a lot with celebrities. And I mean, I don't know. I think it's because they're around each other a lot. They're in these they're with people that understand their life and their lifestyles, which I don't think many people would be able to understand their lifestyle. Their lifestyle is extraordinary and it's different. Going to, like I said, flying out on a moment's notice and, having to do these different things is it can put a strain on any relationship. And just because they're a celebrity, it doesn't necessarily mean that all of their problems are going to be solved because they have money. Money helps. I think anybody that says that well, money doesn't solve everything, and money isn't going to make you. I mean, money helps. Money does help a relationship. It decreases a lot of different problems. It takes away some of these different concerns that you have, and reduces the arguments. And one of the things that we've seen as well, and I've seen as a divorce lawyer, is it is again a reason for a lot of divorces. Money comes up as time and time again as being a reason, and a larger reason. And that's another poll that we have. We added that on as a comment. It's not on like the 5 different choices. In the YouTube polls, they give you like I think they only give you like 5 choices. I need like 10. There's so many reasons for a divorce. So vote on the poll. If you're watching this, vote on the poll because I am going to be making a video on that. I'm just getting around to the celebrity one and doing that. But money is a big reason for divorces. Money is a reason that people decide that they're not going to necessarily be with each other anymore. And it just can create divides, problems. Money can be used for control. Money can be used, as a vice, as, all different. Money can bring with it its own set of problems. So it is a reason for a lot of divorces. However, what money does bring, obviously, is it can reduce a lot of issues that the vast majority of the population have to deal with. If you're worried about where your next meal is going to come from, or how you're going to keep your electric on, or how you're going to pay your rent payment, that can bring a strain on anybody's relationship. That can make anybody's situation tough, and it's not easy from that perspective. And I with celebrities, they don't have to deal with that. That's not something that they're going to have to deal with it. They're not having to worry about the money issues that kind of the normal everyday person is going to have to deal with. So money, I'm guessing, for Brangelina, for Brad Pitt and Jolie, was not the issue for the divorce. So, but obviously something happened, and I don't know what that is. And I don't think it's really important. You know, a lot of times I will ask clients, you know, reasons for it, but you know, it's just more for me to know so I can kind of help them through the process. And I think people will want to know what's the reason why, you know, especially when these celebrity divorces, like, oh, was somebody cheating? Was somebody, you know, was there something happening? You know, what was going on that caused the divide? What was going on that caused the divorce? And sometimes, you know, there's, you know, it could just be difference of opinion. Sometimes people grow apart. There's a lot of different reasons out there. But again, we're going to be making another video. I will link up here at some point when I do finish that video, you know, my reasons for divorce video. But the poll is still open, so you feel free to vote. It'd be helpful for me. The one that is in the lead right now, I won't spoil it, but I mean, I was a little surprised that is people's that have voted their feeling as to what the #1 and top reason for divorces are. And the next celebrity divorce I'm going to go into, first I'm going to grab a little bit of water. No electrolytes in this one. What is this? I think I got this from CVS. Purified water from CVS. Anyways, I talk a lot, so I need to drink water. I need to stay hydrated. I do this in court too. Like, I'll be in the middle of a closing argument or an opening argument or cross-examining a witness, and then I'll be like, I gotta get some water. You know, need some water. Anyways, so number two, we're going into chapter 2 of the Celebrity Divorce live stream. And thank you for those that have been watching and that have watched. And feel free to comment, feel free to like it. Thank you for the likes. Please consider subscribing to the channel. It's a channel about divorce. So nobody wants a divorce. Nobody wants to come to a channel necessarily about divorce. I get it. I understand. I understand that this is, you know, an odd idea for a channel, but it's something that is so necessary because it is so taboo. Divorce is not really talked about, but so many people deal with it. I mean, 50% of marriages end in divorce. So it makes sense that people are going to have questions. And a lot of times the first questions that people have about their divorce is for me. And, you know, when I'm there, you know, when they're interviewing me to be their divorce lawyer or during a consultation or whatever, you know, and it's, you know, that's tough because I feel like if there was a little bit more dialogue about divorce in general, I feel like if people felt a little bit more comfortable discussing it and understanding that marriage is a contract between two people, and that contract sometimes, for whatever reason it is, it may be better off that they're not together. And I don't push divorce on people. I push people towards counseling. I ask everybody, you know, have you tried counseling? Have you gone and seen somebody about it? Have you talked about it? And we have a whole other live stream about saving your marriage and, you know, information about that. So I'm not going to go into what I talked about for like almost 2 hours. And I will link to that above and then below the last live stream. And, you know, I really do generally want people to try to see if they can save, especially if they have kids. Like, you know, see if you can save if you can. But some marriages, it's just they're better not together, you know, and that's the reality of it. I mean, you're two different people coming together in a relationship, and you continue each day and through the lens of life as you see it, and the things that happen to you on a daily basis, and the things that you consume, you know, throughout your life, and the events that happen to you, you change. That is normal. So, there are so many different things that people, reasons why, divorce is not, it might be the option, and again, I'm not going to say it's the last resort, because sometimes it is extraordinarily necessary. And again, and I think, especially in abuse situations, it's not, sometimes people hesitate almost too much to get a divorce because of the societal impact, and the taboo nature of divorce. So this channel, while it's, again, a little odd, and I understand that, to have a divorce channel, solely, devoted to divorce, self-care during your divorce, mental health, and celebrity divorces and other divorce-related issues. This channel is to kind of take away that taboo a little bit, taboo a little bit, and to help people for understanding that they would be shocked at how many people are having the exact same feelings that they're having, the exact same issues that they're having. And I'm trying to kind of lift the curtain a little bit so people can see the process. And I think with the celebrity divorces as well, it's because there's an interest factor in it. Obviously, people are interested in celebrity divorces because they're just, a lot of people are interested in celebrities. Obviously, I love watching movies, and I've seen, we just talked about Brad Pitt's and Angelina Jolie's divorce. I've seen all the Ocean's movies, and and a lot of other good movies as well. But they're still people. So, I think that helps sometimes for people to see that. And I've seen some of that feedback as well. I've gotten from the Bill Gates video, and I'll link to that, that, some of the things that he's dealing with in Bill Gates's divorce, like Xanadu 2.0. I mean, that's, obviously nobody else is having to deal with, issues of, a house of that magnitude, or some of the other different things that are going on during Bill Gates's divorce. But they're still dealing with some similar things, just on a different scale. And they're still dealing with those difficult questions that they have to answer. And they get asked, obviously, through the media, through reporters, journalists, and they're being asked all these different things from so many different people. And it's extraordinarily public, obviously, lots of different articles being written, and videos being made, and information about, so in a very public way. But I think from that, it also humanizes celebrities. People see them and they watch the movie that they're in, and you get very personally invested in the character and then in the person. And people will follow the celebrity throughout their career and through the different movies that they're in, TV shows, and everything else. And but they fail to realize that they're peoples. They're peoples. They are peoples too. They feel the same pain, sadness, anger, happiness, that all of us feel. And divorce is that kind of that ultimate equalizer. And to me, it humanizes them. We are, obviously, at the end of the day, we're people, and so are celebrities. And I think that, this connecting point of seeing with somebody, if they're going through their divorce, of like, oh, I kind of went through that in my divorce. It's interesting from that perspective, because, a lot of us are not jet setting around and going to Milan for fashion shows and doing, very, bougie things. But we may have an argument with our spouse or disagree with, baby mama, baby daddy on parenting of the children. So there's that shared thread, through the humanization of, these celebrity divorces. They are people. They are there. They're just, everybody's the same in that way. So, so on to the next topic, and I'm going to start with, let's see here. Let's see if I can get over to here. And sorry about that. Wanted to get to this a little quicker. And okay, so Kim Ye. So I made a 45-minute video about their divorce, and I'll link that one of these places up top. One of the top parts of this video is going to be that little card that you click on, and you click and you say, I want to go here. So that little card will be for the Kim Ye divorce video. So I'm not going to just restate what I talked about for 45 minutes, but one of the takeaways obviously was they're getting a divorce. So let's see. So I have the case summary from Los Angeles County Superior Court of California, their case access link. And so Kim Kardashian West and Kanye West, they comprise Kim Ye. Hereinafter, they will be known as Kim Ye. It doesn't say that on the docket. I'm saying that. They are not doing much in their divorce right now. So basically, their docket looks exactly the same as their docket looked when I made the video. The last thing that was filed was back April 9th of 2021, the UCCJEA affidavit. And a UCCJEA affidavit, we file those in Florida as well. It's all over the United States. It's the Uniform Child Custody Jurisdiction Enforcement Affidavit. It's basically what state in the United States has jurisdiction over your kids. So you got, all the different states in the US, right? And you got New York, California, Texas, and Florida. All right, there's a lot more states than that. I'm just, over here, just trying to make a little map or something. This is live, so that's all I got. So the 50 states. 50-ish states and territories. Anyways, I'm not gonna go into that. I think my wife argued the other day there's 53 states. But anyways, the fact is that the UCCJEA determines which of those states has jurisdiction. So sometimes somebody might file a case in one state, and there may be kind of a dispute over which state it should be in, whether it should be, let's say, since I'm a Florida divorce lawyer, let's say it's filed in Florida. But they're looking at the home state. So they're looking, for the last 6 months of time, what was, the home state for the child? Where was the child living during the 6 months prior to filing that affidavit? And so it's pretty basic. It's just the court wants to make sure that if they're making a ruling that determines, what's going to happen with the kids, that they have jurisdiction over those children. You don't want a Colorado court saying what a child, Colorado doesn't have any jurisdiction, and maybe Tennessee does. They want to make sure that Tennessee deals with it. So their last filing in here, filed by the respondent, which is Kanye West, is the UCCJEA affidavit, and Kim filed that one as well, February 19th of 2021. So we ask our clients as well to fill out UCCJEAs, and if they watch this, know that Kim Kardashian, and Kanye West also filled out UCCJEA affidavits. It's normal. It's so the court has an idea of where the child's home state is, and to make sure that they have jurisdiction, to make sure that they can make a determination over those children. So that was just a little information about a UCCJEA. And that's the last thing that was filed in the Kanye divorce. So it's interesting because, why is it interesting? Well, Kanye West has had a series of listening parties for the Donda album. Listened to it today, listened to it a little bit yesterday as well. I mean, pretty good. You know, it's like the fact that they came out. Okay, I'm going to go completely off topic on this, and I apologize in advance, but I'm going to do it because I'm going to just do it. I'm doing it. So Drake came out with Certified Lover Boy, right? CLB, right? And then Kanye West comes out with Donda, like the same day, like we're right around the same time, all over the weekend, right? And they got this like whole beef thing going on. And, you know, if you look at Kanye West's album, you know, he doesn't put who's on the track, right? You know, Kanye West just says it, every single track just says Kanye West, Kanye West, Kanye West, Kanye West, Kanye West. It doesn't say like feature, like Jay-Z's on some of these songs too. But then on Drake's album, it's like he's saying like featuring Jay-Z. But anyways, so they got this beef going on, Jay-Z and Kanye. And then Andre 3000 got brought into it too. That one blew me away because I like Outkast. I'm a big fan of Outkast. I've always liked Outkast. I've seen Outkast in concert multiple times. Seen Kanye West in concert as well. Never seen Drake. But the fact is that their beef that was going on back and forth, and part of it was, I mean, it seemed like some of it was directed to Kim as well. I mean, because now I don't know if it was, I don't know if Drake meant to, but you know, one of the actresses in his newest song video, which I watched yesterday, it's like I think it's a remake of like I'm Too Sexy by Right Said Fred. I mean, does anybody remember that from the 90s? Right Said Fred? Does anybody? No. I do. I remember that. I'm too sexy for my whatever. For my car. Was it? I'm too sexy for my car, too sexy for my car. I don't know. I don't know the song. I don't know if I have to attribute that. I'll do it. I'm going to attribute my poorly remembered lyric for Right Said Fred's I'm Too Sexy down below. And I also want to see if there's a video for that. It was like 1992 or something. But I think that Drake, I don't know. I wonder if he got the rights to Right Said Fred. Okay. They said he was sampling it. It sounds okay. So the article from NME, I just like this reacting to it. It sounds terrible and yet absolutely bangs at the same time. That's kind of funny. But anyways, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I like that song back in the early 90s. What is it? Somebody said that. Anyway, Annie Mac tweeted about the rappers. I didn't expect to wake up this morning to hear Drake sampling Right Said Fred. Yeah. But in the song, I guess there's an actress in there, and you can see her. It's like in his the knockoff like perfume commercial. Everybody loves to make fun of, like, you know, Calvin Klein commercials from the 90s and stuff like that. I don't know. Maybe they're still making maybe all like parfum and cologne ads are exactly the same now. But I just, for some reason, they just seem to be like really like prevalent in the 90s. But he did one, like, it's like a knockoff like Drake perfume and cologne commercial, and one of the actresses has a striking resemblance to Kim Kardashian. Striking resemblance. And I mean, just watch the video. I'm not gonna go through it, but it's she, if it wasn't on purpose, like and because there's a whole, like, again, like a beef between Kanye and Drake and the whole Kim thing. But anyways, how I got so completely off track on that was, but also the Andre 3000. And I will highly suggest. Actually, I don't think it's like. I think Drake leaked the album or the song because it didn't actually make Kanye West's album. Like it didn't even make it. And then, I was reading some tweets, some people tweeting about that it was like, commenting that it was like it would have been like the best song on the album if he would have added on. But I mean, Andre 3000's. It's the first part. I mean, my preference is the first part of the song, but if you listen to this, I mean, it's so good because Donda, obviously the album is about Kanye West's mother that passed away. And he asked Andre 3000 from Outkast to do a verse. And just like Drake and Kanye both seemingly like asked everybody in, the world to put in a verse and to, lay a track for them. And Andre 3000, who's, very, he's not really out into being in type of beef. He's not into the beef, right? He doesn't want to be in the middle of the Drake and Kanye beef. That's not Andre 3000's goal. His goal is just doing, 3 stacks, stuff and not being on tour with Big Boy anymore, evidently. I don't know. I love Outkast. I've seen him like 6 times. Maybe 4 times. 4 times. Love him. But he doesn't want to tour. He's done. He's just like, and I think he even said, like, if people want me to be on it, there's I think he said, like, with Kendrick Lamar and Jay-Z and, a few others, Tyler, the Creator, he said a few other, like, absolutely, I'd love to be on, but I don't want to be in the beef. I don't want to be in the, in the middle, because it was like Drake that leaked the track, and how he had that. I don't know. And I don't know if this is all like, just amazing, marketing, because, the stadium tour that Kanye West did was shockingly, amazingly great marketing. I mean, it wasn't a mistake. And if it was a mistake, I mean, his mistakes are like gold plated, so he sells out like 3 stadiums, Soldier Field and Mercedes-Benz and whatever. And then he's like living in the basement of each of them. This is Kanye West, back to Yeet, right? Not Kim. Kim was not there with their kids, but he was in there finishing the tracks, and I'm sure he was. I mean, he's at heart, he's a producer, and he produces, some unbelievable music from the last 10 years. I mean, if you start looking at the stuff that Kanye West has produced over the last 10, it's just I forget. But anyways, so he's living in these 3 different stadiums and arenas, over the last however many months. And sorry, I just got like my ear right up in the camera, but he's living in the stadiums and he's doing this. And, sometimes people look at it and be like, oh, that's weird. Why would you do that? Why would you live in like, he's like paying like $1 million to stay there or something. I don't know. Why would you do that? Why would you? Well, I mean, why would you not? Like, if you can, why would you not? Selling these things out, he's creating a massive amount of attention. He's bringing in necessarily, I almost, how many CDs do you buy anymore? I mean, I haven't bought one in a long time. I mean, you know, usually you get them off of some type of streaming service. I mean, there are, you know, independent artists that are, you know, obviously selling, you know, CDs and records and things of that nature, and you can buy them, I'm sure, but I mean, it's like in the social network, you know, where's a, you know, have you seen a Virgin music store anymore because of Napster, you know, and the part in there? I mean, yeah, I mean, the music industry has been completely changed and the whole dynamic of it. So you have to find new ways, and that's something that Kanye West is immeasurably good at. Is he's finding ways to market his product, and his product is, he's primarily a producer. He's an executive producer and he's a rapper, but he's a producer, and he's trying to get interest. And so these 3 stadium tours were to drive interest, to drive people to listen to his music and to be interested in the music. And so he wanted to make sure there was shock value. So Kim Kardashian came out in a wedding dress at one of the listening parties, and that was the absolute, you know, the craziest one. You know, like Marilyn Manson was there. He burned down what looked like his childhood home. Like, I mean, it was just, actually, I would have liked to have been there. Probably would have been pretty cool. But the fact is that, you know, he is trying to get people to talk about him, and he's trying to drive that attention, and that will drive, you know, record sales, you know, I guess, or billboard, you know. And I don't even know how they're counting that anymore in that industry. I'm curious to know if anybody knows. Let me know, because, you know, it used to be about like CD sales, and that was like how you could determine how it's doing. But, you know, I mean, nobody's really buying CDs anymore. So you're trying to drive attention. You're trying to market your product. And by having these stadium tours and bringing Kim Kardashian out in a wedding dress and just all of the other stuff, and him not showing his face during the whole thing, and bringing out like 19 different, you know, guests at every single one of the stadium tours. I mean, it's been odd since they've filed their divorce, like really, really odd, like not a normal divorce. And so some people have been asking, and you know, the questions have been, are they getting back together? And I have not talked to Kanye or Kim. And as I said in the last video, you know, you didn't call me. So I don't have this on any type of information, but it's interesting. It's definitely interesting the way that, and it could have been because of I mean, they are extraordinary marketers. You know, if anything else, I mean, they are finding ways to continue to, you know, push, you know, what they're selling, basically, whether it's Skims related, or if it's, you know, beauty product, or, you know, a movie, or their new Hulu show, or his album, or, you know, sneakers, or whatever it is. You know, they're good at marketing, and they're good at making sure that people are talking about them. So are they getting back together? You know, I don't know, but it's definitely interesting. They've seemingly been spending a lot more time together. You know, like I said, I'm looking at the docket. Got it up right now. It's completely stalled. Been stalled for 5 months. And that's not, again, that's not abnormal. I mean, that's not like something, I know somebody's watching this and like, why would a divorce stall for that long? Why would it not be going? Why would it not be moving? Well, I mean, there's a lot of different reasons. There's a lot of different reasons why cases will not move exponentially fast. And the majority of it is procedurally, it's a complicated process, and it's not something that just moves, unbelievably quickly. If you have a divorce where there's no kids and no assets and nothing to fight over, that's a different story. That's going to be something that's going to go quicker. That's going to be something that's going to result in an opinion by a judge or result in an agreement. It's going to go a lot quicker than something that's more complicated. If you start adding in, children, assets, and then, with Kim Kardashian and Kanye West, I mean, just $1 billion estate, it's not easy. That takes some time to figure things out. There are so many different things that you have to think about as an attorney in some of these different cases to help your client get through. It's not just as simple as like, okay, you're divorced, and there's something called bifurcation divorce. So you can, like, in Florida, in some states, it's, you can get divorced and you can split off the other issues. Kind of like the first divorce we talked about was Brangelina. And theirs was, they entered the divorce, but they're still dealing with different issues. So similarly, it can happen where you bifurcate it, you split it off, and you deal with the issues separately. So sometimes people get not just angry, but like visibly angry when they're like, why can't I just get divorced? Why can't I just, get this over with? I don't understand. I said, I do. I just want to say I don't. I just want it to be done. And that, that sounds good, and it sounds like it should be like soup simps, right? Super simple, but it's not, because the marriage part of it is not a complicated thing to dissolve. It's not divorce, but is much more than just the marriage. It's everything that comes into the marriage, the children, the assets, the different support, things like that. So that's why these cases, or like Kanye West and Kim Kardashian's, which for 5 months has been just chilling and not doing too much, because behind the scenes, they're having to do these things. They're having to go in and figure out what the heck to do with $1 billion estate. So they're going to have to figure out also with their children as well. But as I talked in the video that, again, I'll link again, they're going to have all different types of help. They're going to have nannies and, all different types of handlers and people that can help them, assistants, out the wazoo, that can help them, anyways, that can help them parenting their kids and, making sure that, they're doing the best that they can for their kids. But, are they getting back together? I don't know, but it's something that's definitely been interesting, with some of the different statements that have come out, her showing up in her wedding dress. Is it theater? Is it theatrics? Is it a little bit of drama? Maybe. Your thoughts? I don't know. The other comments. So I'm going to the video that we have, and we got, let's see here. So this was back in June of this year. And where's it at? So we got 100 comments now. Thank you for those comments. Thank you. Thank you for the comments. If you left a comment, highly appreciate it. Highly, it helps us know what, what type of content is resonating with people, what type of content people want to see more of. And, obviously the comments help. So, one of the comments was, I said about their divorce, and, somebody replied, Lucy replied, is the best thing she ever did in her life. So, and, I replied with maybe, maybe not. 4 kids is a tough part, but thanks for the comment. Because could it be the best thing that she did. And I think sometimes, I mean, if you look at the comments on the video, and again, I'm going to link the video below. You know, sometimes people are saying like, oh, you know, Kanye this or Kanye that, you know, and, you know, trying to say that, you know, maybe there's some instability there, or, you know, and some of the comments just are more about Kim and her appearance, which I think is just kind of odd that people are commenting from that standpoint. I mean, clearly Kanye was attracted to her and got married to her, so I don't think it has anything to do with him not being attracted to her. But I think she's attractive. I think Kim's a very attractive woman. So I don't know why people comment from that perspective and then saying that that's the reason why Kanye would want to get a divorce. But for the most part, the fact is that they wanted to get a divorce, you know. So the kids, what I said in the comment, the reply to the comment is the kids are the important part. So they need to make sure that they're putting the kids first. They're focusing on that. And they seem like they've been trying to do that, you know, since they filed and since all this has been going on. And one of the things that I had said in the video was, you know, if Kanye does anything that is really super out of the ordinary, like scary type stuff. And again, it's like, you know, since I said that, like the whole stadium tour happened, and some of it has just been really weird. But I mean, for the most part, it's marketing. It's a different form of marketing. Then I watched somebody else's video. Thank goodness for water. I watched somebody else's video, and you know, it was like a Drake versus Kanye, you know, video, and you know, like, whoa, you know, Drake didn't have any arena listening parties. He's like, well, maybe he will, you know, maybe he didn't think about it. So it was a great idea to do these listening parties in these stadiums, and I think probably going to see more of that. You know, I mean, I think it's going to be, not that there's never been a listening party before. I'm not saying this is like, you know, Kanye invented it, but he definitely made a big deal about it. And I think by living in the basement of the Mercedes-Benz Stadium, you know, while finishing it and walking through like random sporting events, just walking up and down the aisles and on his, you know, whatever. And I don't know if he was using his phone or listening to the album, but he was constantly changing the album as he's going through it. And that was part of his process. But again, it's marketing. It's, you know, making sure that he is in the public eye, that people are watching and people are listening and that people are interested in what he is saying and what he is doing. So, you know, sometimes people, you know, in some of these comments, and I didn't understand this. So there's a comment in here by Bridget, you know, Courtney got her way again. I didn't understand that. I missed that one. And I comment on that. I missed it. But I also said he might be hard to warm up to initially, because I got to imagine that Kanye West, I mean, I don't think that part of his brain like turns off of that intensity. And I think that, you know, that's what's made him, you know, who he is. And I think if he changed dramatically who he is, you know, his entire career that he has, and you know, everything that he has created will change dramatically if he changes, and if he, you know, changes everything. So is he the same around Kim Kardashian's family? I mean, I think that's kind of who he is. I think there's a public part of Kanye West, and I think obviously there's a private part, but even with these celebrity divorces and celebrity situations, they do put on, one persona to the media and to the public. But can he be possibly hard to go on a vacation with? I don't know. I mean, he definitely seemed that I've watched some of the Keeping Up the Kardashian episodes, and he seemed like he was involved, to the extent of what, somebody that is as busy as he is, and as both him and Kim are. So he seemed involved. He seemed like he was, but I didn't understand that. But I'm curious to know if there was an issue with Courtney and him. But and then we had a comment that the commonality of that this happening, and a lot of likes on that one. A very common thing between actors and actresses, and whether there's no adjustment capacity or other reasons for divorce. But so this comment, and thank you for it. But what I replied was, obviously there's a human element, and like I've been saying in this video, that people experience these same types of emotions, whether you're a celebrity or whether you are not a celebrity, a normal individual. You're going to feel the same anxiety and fear and anger and maybe happiness or relief, all these different things. There's that human element to it. But do I think it's the percentages are higher with actors and actresses and celebrities? I don't necessarily know. I think it's just more public. It's definitely more, out there. When Jolie down the street gets a divorce, it's not on, TMZ. It's not, on every single major news outlet. But this is the lives that these celebrities and high profile people, and if you have a reality show for 20 seasons, you clearly want people to know what's going on in your life. You clearly want to know, want people to know what you're doing and what you're thinking. And, and there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, that's their choices of what they've made. It's just, I just think the fact is that why it seems like these relationships don't work out. And I know there's a lot of them that don't work out, but I don't know the percentages. It's actually kind of an interesting thing because it's kind of a smaller subset. Like, what celebrity, super high profile, what goes into that of determining the percentage, because there's definitely different professions and that we've seen that are very high percentages for divorce rates, and then other professions that are lower. But it just kind of like somewhere in the middle, like around 50% of marriages, and it fluctuates, it goes up and down. But there are definitely some professions that are high 70s, 80% divorce rates. So maybe this is one of those professions that there's a higher divorce rate. But thank you for Tracy for sharing the information. You broke it down very well. Thank you very much. I'm just going through the comments. Again, I'm going to link to the video up on one of these sides. I don't know which one it goes. I'm hoping it goes there because I keep pointing there. So I'm hoping the little card goes right there, but probably not. It'll probably go like right there. So because I want it to go there. So it'll go there. And then maybe it'll move over there. So one of the comments, Mary says, lawyer seems rather amused, but divorce is a sad thing. And I responded, I'm a divorce lawyer. This is what I do. I deal with divorce day in and day out every day of my life. I agree that divorce is sad. It really sucks, but it happens. And I thanked her for the comment. But that's my job. I deal with divorces every day. When I wake up tomorrow, I'll be talking to my clients about divorces. So am I happy about it? No. Am I analyzing it and giving my commentary on it? Yes. And it's part of my job that I deal with them every single day. So people have different professions and different jobs. I am a divorce lawyer. So I see this stuff day in and day out every single day. No, I'm not like jaded, and I have that other video. I'll link that one. And again, I'm putting it right there, but it's going to be over there. Yes, I'm not jaded to marriage. I'm not jaded to relationships. I've been happily married for 14 years. I'm not jaded to it. But it is, and it doesn't make me like, question the institution of marriage. And I know that there's a lot of divorce lawyers that are very jaded, and not a lot of divorce lawyers. I'm not going to say everybody, but there's a certain contingent, I would say, of divorce lawyers that are jaded about marriage. For me, it's my job, a job that I feel like I'm pretty good at. So, and I'm used to talking to people about their problems. I've been talking for an hour and a half, so obviously, as you can see, I can talk a lot. I like trial. I like going to court. I like trying to help people through their case. But I try not to take it as personally, I think, as sometimes people unfortunately do. Some divorce lawyers in family law, they take things a little personally. And I try not to get too caught up in the emotional side of it, and compartmentalize enough, because, again, we are here for a short period of time on this earth to do what we can to enjoy our lives, to do the best that we can to make an impact, to help people. And one of the things that I'm able to help people is because, again, my thing that I have done for 15 years in my entire career has been divorce and being a divorce lawyer. So I've seen all of it, everything, all good, all bad. I've seen it all. So that gives me an interesting perspective, on this YouTube channel. As being a YouTube divorce lawyer, I have seen it all. I really have. And does it make me happy to see Kanye get divorced? No. I mean, do you want me to just like read to the camera like, Kanye and Kim are getting a divorce? It's bad. It's really bad. Bad. Okay. I mean, you want me to be at least somewhat like animated a little bit. I mean, like there's teens, like a teens. Whatevs. Is lawyerly a word? Thank you, Mary. I don't know. Yes. Oh, Pam says, yeah, lawyerly is a word. I guess I meant it said lawyerly somewhere in the video. I don't know. So, and then Patty says, except they, pay their heat bill, property tax, buy a house, so they don't have problems like a normal person. Okay, and I see where she's going with that, and I agree that they're not having the exact same issues. They're but it's similar in the context that people going through divorce have similar issues to even celebrities. So that's the similarity is that they're going through a divorce and they're having some of these similar issues as kind of normal everyday people, on a different scale. I'll give you that. And there's a lot of grandeur. Their house may be, 30-50 million dollars, and maybe you're selling your house for $100,000. That's a big difference, but you're still trying to figure out who's getting the house, and who's going to be seeing the kids on the weekend, and what's the support going to be. So there's a lot of similar. I did it again. I did it again. Somebody just logged off because of that. They're like, like, why can this guy? Because I've been talking for an hour and 35 minutes. And sometimes when I talk for an hour and 35 minutes, I say seminary instead of similarity. There's a lot of comments. I'm not going to go through all of them. But I appreciate them. And thank you so much. And if you're watching this and you commented, even you, Deb, who said the video is boring. And I said, thank you for the input. So thank you for that. So no, but I mean, I appreciate the comments. I appreciate the feedback. It's, again, it's a channel about divorce. It's not going to be like all rainbows and sunshine and like, we're giving away $10 million to the next. That's just not the channel. But it's about like real life. Divorce is real. Divorce has a taboo attached to it that people just don't want to talk about it. People don't want to be real with themselves. They don't want to discuss it until they're in the middle of it. And then they're talking to me. And then I'm like the first person they've ever talked to about it. And then there's just sometimes not a lot of support there for people to, and that's why I feel like this channel is helpful, because if you at least get a little bit of a roadmap and you get a little bit of a lay of the land of what's going on, I mean, I think that helps. I mean, if you're going to spend 17 hours researching the new convection oven that you're going to buy, or, you know, whether you want to get a Chevy Tahoe, you know, or the equivalent of the Ford one, Expedition, maybe, I don't know. You know, people spend that much, you know, like untold amounts of time, you know, researching different things. But then like a divorce where it's like, whoa, you know, you know, if your kid's like 2, that's like 16 years of how you're going to be dealing with parenting with the other side and asset division. Like, you need to research that. You need to understand. You need to understand these terms and know what the heck is going on. And I just feel like there's not a lot of information out there from that perspective. And that's a big reason why we made the channel, is to give away information so people can watch these videos, you know, for educational purposes, not legal advice, but to understand just divorce in general. And understand that, again, you're not alone in going through this, and there's good ways to go through divorce, and then there's ways that are not as helpful, and there's ways that can be very detrimental and also scary for a lot of people. And again, you want to make sure that you have as much information as you can. There's books out there that you can read on it that are helpful. You know, but it seems like recently people have resorted more to learn about divorce. They resort to like social media and like talking like groups of friends and things like that. And that's great. I mean, that's better than nothing. But you know, how many times since like Facebook came out have I been like questioned about, you know, why I'm advising for one way or another? It's like, okay, well, so Betty down the street, so there's Julie and now Betty, like, anyways, so Betty down the street, so she's, you know, saying that you should do this in your divorce because she's, you know, because she heard from her mailman's friends, brothers, sisters, fathers, you know, cousins, dogs, groomers, friend that, you know, they got 50-50 custody. So yeah, that makes sense. That checks out. That works. But I mean, at least people are talking about it. You know, at least people are like reaching out. But it's also from the standpoint that, you know, if the information that you're getting, the education that you're getting on it is not that good. I don't know. I mean, people all the time will like Google check, you know, like even as I'm like talking to them, you know, it's like, okay, yeah, I'm sure you can find somebody out there to say what you want to hear, but that's not necessarily what you need to hear. So, you know, divorce in general, it's tricky, it's hard, and this channel is meant to help people navigate through it and understand it a little bit more. So, third and final celebrity divorce. We are done with Kanye. This was a new comment. Anyways, I won't go into that one. So just check out the comments. Some of them are kind of interesting. And thank you to those that commented. And I do appreciate it. Thank you for those that have viewed. What are we at? 153,000 views. And I appreciate that. And thank you for all the views. Thank you for the likes. Thank you for the dislikes. I get it. You know, it's a weird channel. I get it. Divorce. You know, but I think people need to understand what they're doing and what they're going through. And I think with my background in divorce law and my understanding of how things work, it gives me an interesting view of it, rather than like Betty down the street in your Facebook group or in your group chat that's telling you that you should go and do this. But again, you know, as a divorce lawyer, you know, we're gonna be questioned like 900,000 times for different things, and that's part of the job. And I think if there's any lawyers watching this, like, understand, like, that's what you signed up for. You've signed up for now. Also, everybody be Google checking you and Facebook checking you, and, you know, group text chatting you, checking you of every single thing that you advise your clients of, but also understanding, like, we're being paid for a very specific purpose, and that's to give advice. That's, you know, that's the widget that we sell. We don't sell, you know, a widget. You know, they say that in law school a lot. So if you're in law school or whatever, you watch it and you're like, oh yeah, widgets. So we don't sell widgets. We don't sell, you know, t-shirts, at least yet. We don't sell t-shirts, so we sell our advice, and you know, we give it based upon the facts that are provided to us. So, and sometimes people don't like that advice that we give, and that's their prerogative. Everybody is entitled to their opinion, as are we, and we're being paid to do it. Anyways, back to the third and final celebrity divorce that I'm talking about during this office hours night shift. So the third one is definitely the craziest one. I mean, I am still blown away by this one. And this one was only filed in 2020. So this one's only been going on for like a year and a half. Like, Brangelina's was 5 years. Kimi's was like 5 months, right? So this was, but for this to be filed, and maybe in the next live stream I'll do like a screen share thing, because it's just funny to scroll through it. But I mean, to file this much stuff in a year, like, the lawyers, I mean, you just paid for like their families to go to Vail like 19 times. You know, it's just so much stuff filed constantly, and it's just like over and over, and it's like everybody's got another attorney for another thing, and then all these other people are, you know, hiring the attorneys, getting, you know, leaving the case, and another one coming in. So this one that's been going on for about a year and a half is Dr. Dre's divorce. And the biggest issue with this one has been the prenup. So the prenup and the challenge of a prenup has been the issue. And you know, it's tricky because, you know, everybody wants a prenup that's going to be withheld, you know, upheld and you know, held to be valid. But again, people sometimes will challenge it. Sometimes people will ask for, you know, in this case, according to this Yahoo article, this is when, you know, Nicole was asking for a 5-day trial over the validity of the prenup. And at that point, Dr. Dre's lawyer, Laura Wasner, was asking for the this is from a TMZ report. So that Dre's lawyer, Laura Wasser, filed the documents this week, and it was a trial centering around the prenuptial agreement. So the main issue was, let me get back to this. I've lost it. Okay. I'm going to X out of Brangelina's case because that is, we're done with that one, and we are on to Andre Young and Nicole Young. But Laura Wasser, I don't know why they said Wasner, this Yahoo article, whatevs. Oh, gotta get out of Kimye's as well. All right, so now I am down to just Dr. Dre's divorce. So the interesting thing in this one, I mean, okay, so you know, that basically $2 million a year in temporary support. I mean, that's just like that one. Sometimes people are like, wait, what? $2 million a year? So it's I think it's like $300,000 a month in temporary support because they're not they're fighting over the prenup. So while it's going on, and sometimes people are like, well, there's a prenup. You know, there's a prenup. Why would they be fighting? Why would he have to be paying, you know, $300,000 a month? But again, depending on the prenup, depending on, you know, what has happened, and she had actually requested $2 million in monthly support. So, and I think $5 million in legal fees. You know, again, it's $1 billion estate. I mean, and again, we talked about this at the beginning of the video that, you know, he's made some of, you know, 30-year career of just, you know, exceptional, you know, hits over the years. And the Beats by Dre, which was purchased, as well, I think by Apple, I believe, for about $500 million. So, you know, Dr. Dre, you know, he's doing pretty well for himself, and he did pretty well. And his marriage, again, you know, with a prenup, sometimes people question this and say, well, you know, again, why is it even possible that there be $2 million per month in requested temporary support and $5 million in legal fees? Well, again, while you have to go through the prenup challenge process and trying to determine whether or not the prenup is going to be upheld or if it's going to be overturned, you have to figure out what is going to happen for the other spouse. So, you know, like here in Florida, because I'm a Florida divorce lawyer, basically Florida's like, yeah, we're not going to be dealing with that. You're still married, so until you're actually divorced, if you need to pay support, you're going to be paying support. So there's some case law about that in Florida, about temporary support during a prenup. Not for this video, but you know, in California, I don't know what the law is there on prenups. I just know that, you know, he was recently ordered to pay $300,000 a month in spousal support. It's a lot. That's a lot. I think we can all say that, you know, $300,000 in spousal support per month is a decent amount, and it's something that, let's see here, it's about 3.5 million per year. So, and again, she asked for $2 million per month. And they had Malibu, Pacific Palisades homes, and they also have some adult children as well. And there's been a whole other drama with that. If you want me to go into that about a little bit more of their situation, but I mean, it's just, it's a 24-year marriage. So, I mean, it's not like a short-term marriage. It's not like they were married for like 6 months or something like that. But I mean, it's a 24-year marriage. So when they got married, it was in the 90s. And, he had already done an exceptional amount. And, so much obviously happened after that as well. And, so there's been a lot that's happened during this time frame, because sometimes people will look at it, well, if he did these things, prior to the marriage, why is she sharing it? Well, again, the last 24 years, again, Dr. Dre has been doing pretty well for himself. So, but with a prenup in place, and whether or not that is set aside, that's for the court to decide. But the fact is that the sheer number of hearings, like I'm looking at the court, Superior Court of California, County of Los Angeles, court docket right now. And again, as I said earlier in the live stream, this is online public record access. You log in just as you can log into, anybody's, case, that, the states that have public access, but California is one that has public access, and so is Florida, which I practice in. So California into the Superior Court of California, County of Los Angeles, case access, showing that they filed in June of 2020. And like right underneath it, there's 7 hearings coming up. So you got one in October, and then, well, actually it might not be 7, I think, because they're dealing with a whole bunch of different things at the same time on one of these. So let's say, all right, that might have been a mistake. I looked at that one pretty quickly, but it looks like there's about definitely 3 days of hearings, right? So, in October, in November, and then in December. So what's going to be on there? What's going to, it just seems like they're just not even, like, I mean, looks like they filed a notice of appeal just at the end of July. I mean, there's just so much going on. They're requesting for stay of trial court proceedings, filed by, looks like Dr. Dre, and it's just, you just keep going on this docket. I mean, you could scroll, and memorandums of law filed all over the place. It's extensive. So again, the attorneys that are having to deal with this, again, probably burning the midnight oil up all night, doing the stuff that they need to do, and advocating for their clients, and their clients are telling them, obviously that I am guessing, without seeing the pleadings, that Dr. Dre wants the prenup upheld, and his wife has an issue with the prenup. So the court has to make that determination, and they have to figure out what's going to happen. Because if the prenup stands, so if the prenup is found to be valid, and that there was no overreaching, or it wasn't duress where somebody was forcing somebody to enter into the prenup. So if the court finds that none of these things happen, and California's law is going to be different than Florida's, but Florida has like an unconscionability portion to it. If it's so there's a lot of different areas of it that the court can look at. But from what I've seen in other California cases, and I did a little research into the previously about the Dodgers divorce, the Los Angeles Dodgers divorce. So it was before they sold for like, Los Angeles Dodgers sold for like $2 billion, the original owners, husband and wife, and they had this big, mega, huge divorce with, weeks-long trial just on the viability of the prenup. And that one is like, oh, I mean, just weeks and weeks and weeks of hearings just dealing with one prenup. But it's the seminal issue was whether the Dodgers was included or whether it wasn't. So, that's and that's a whole other story. But this case summary for Dr. Dre's divorce is, like I said, it's extensive. They don't seem to be getting any further. I mean, sometimes you see like movement. I mean, okay, with a temporary order. So the fact that she's, receiving $300,000 a month in temporary support. I didn't see if there was a fee award or not. So attorney's fees award, that's something, obviously they're going to be asking for because they're litigating like crazy. I mean, there's a lot of litigation. I'm not saying they're crazy. I'm just saying it's crazy litigation. It's just a lot. It's in no way, shape, or form, the norm for most divorces. Have I seen dockets like this before in other cases? Absolutely. And I've seen like one side will file one thing and then the other side files like 10. And then it's just this back and forth and back and forth. And it was sometimes these cases in super highly litigated, super contested cases, it happens. And again, sometimes you don't know at the beginning of a case whether that's going to happen. And I remember when this first came out and this was first announced, I remember looking into it, I was like, it's interesting, especially with a prenup. So sometimes I think, okay, well, there's a prenup. Well, especially in a lot of the divorce ones, like it's odd, from these celebrity ones when they let it get so public. And I guess I've talked about two of them in this video that are very public. Like, I mean, even though Brangelina's, a lot of the different records themselves were sealed, it's still in the public record because it's still on the docket and it's still showing what's going on. And they're still having to give, interviews and talk about this and being asked questions about it constantly. It's going on and on and on. And that is pretty public, as opposed to some other cases, like Tiger Woods. Tiger Woods is a great example of a case that went, completely, it was, I don't know if it was considered to be collaborative. And again, they had it sealed and confidential. It was like in and out. It was done. But, like 10 years ago, it was like, you knew that they were getting a divorce and then it was just done. It was over. And a lot of the nitty gritty of it and a lot of the fighting, legal fighting between the lawyers, you didn't see it happen because a lot of the stuff happened behind closed doors. And that could be happening with Kim Kardashian's as well and Kanye West. They could be dealing with these things behind closed doors. And I did a video on Bill Gates on their divorce. So again, I'll link that over here on the Bill Gates or over there, wherever, the Bill Gates divorce, and that they also, were dealing with this probably for years behind the scenes. And then finally they were having to liquidate different things, liquidate shares, liquidate all this, move things around, when you're dealing with a, extraordinary case like the Gates divorce or the Bezos divorce. You're having to do a lot of different things that just take a lot of different people to help you out with, a lot of financial advisors and accountants and attorneys and teams of people to do all these different things. But sometimes it's just a matter of time. And if they're able to kind of keep a lot of these things out of the public eye. I think that's the goal for a majority of these celebrity cases and high profile cases. Now, for Dr. Dre's divorce, which we're talking about right now, they seemingly have not kept it out of the public eye. And it has gotten like way, way more contested than I ever expected it to be, especially with there being a prenup. I thought that this would be something that, you know, you'd be looking at it and saying one day, okay, all right, they came to a resolution, they're done, they're over, they're ready to move on. But they just keep going on this case. And I think it's kind of from the beginning. I'm looking at the court docket right now, and it's hard to even get to the end of it. But, you know, from the beginning, I mean, they filed in June of 2020. Not too much happened until about August. Some other stuff started happening. There started being some disputes. And then, I mean, it just erupted in October and in November, and it like never subsided. And then they started the whole, you know, where they were going in the direction of, and they have all these like disqualifications. There were, you know, all kinds of different stuff just going on and on and on, that objections to this and striking this and all this, you know, this type of litigation, which is necessary in a lot of these cases. I'm not saying any of this is like not necessary. It's just, it just has been going on for over a year. And to me, it doesn't look like there's an end in sight. But maybe there is. So for the attorneys that are obviously dealing with that, I am sure that they are, you know, earning every single penny that they're receiving from this, because this is very complicated work. This is very tough. This is not easy. And, you know, you're dealing with situations where, you know, if something doesn't go the way that they expected or wanted, you know, they're going to appeal it. So it's like we talked about the first one with, you know, this video about Brangelina's, Brad Pitt, Angelina Jolie's. They, you know, they're appealing it because Brad Pitt's lawyers are appealing it because, you know, procedural issues, you know, and their reasons for, you know, the appeal, or what, you know, just say that you're appealing it. You know, that's it's kind of the direction that they're going. So as an attorney, you have to make sure that you're getting it ready, especially in a situation like this where, I mean, they're appealing this one as well. There's already, like I said, there's already a notice of appeal for, you know, for Dr. Dre's, and they're still, you know, still kind of going. I mean, they're probably going to file like 9 things tomorrow too. I mean, it's that type of case where there's just a lot going on. There's a lot of things that are still going to be happening, and that obviously, you know, for their sake, obviously you're hoping that they kind of get through it. Seems like there's just a whole lot of drama too, you know, with their adult children, and it's just none of this helps it as well. This doesn't help it for the kids, and because even with adult children, sometimes they'll be like, well, you know, they're adult kids, and, you know, it's different than if they're minors, and if they're minors, you know, it's you know, that's no, I mean, for adult children as well, you know, divorce is tough. Everything that they've ever known throughout their lives is, you know, with their parents together. So when it changes, it can obviously be very, very tough for the kids. So, you know, in these 3 cases, we started off first with Brangelina. So Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie. And like I said, it's because, you know, I did that poll in our community tab, and check out the community tab if you haven't, and, you know, vote on the poll of what you feel the #1 and the top reason for reasons for divorce are. And I did the poll on, you know, the next video to make, and the crazy celebrity, you know, with all kinds of lots of stuff going on, was the poll winner. So that was so Brad Pitt won that poll. And so we started off with Brangelina's divorce and their custody proceeding right now, because again, it started as a divorce, they are divorced, but they're still dealing with those custody issues. And then we talked about Kanye and what has been going on, and really, I guess most notably, what has not been going on. But again, could be all behind the scenes, or they could have made a call to their attorneys and said, let's just let things chill for a little bit. And that happens. I mean, I over the years, I can't count how many times I've, been retained and people reconcile. I mean, it's a very, very normal thing. Will they reconcile? Will Kanye reconcile? I don't know. For their kids, if they're going to be, better for their kids together than they are apart, then that's the best, scenario. But if they're just not good together, then it may be a better scenario for them to move on. So it's up to them to do it, but it seems like they've stayed pretty close. And that's why there's been some rumblings and some talk and some questions of, are they getting back together or are they not? And then finally, Dr. Dre's divorce, and just, I'll probably have to make a follow-up video at some point, because I've seen this. I've been looking at this one for a few months now, and I've been like, what is going on? This is intense. So I think it's only going to get more intense, but hopefully, again, as with all of our divorces as well, they do end at some point. These things don't go on indefinitely. They're going to end. All of them will end. And thank you for watching the video. I appreciate everybody that has been watching and has hopefully gotten something out of this. And if you're watching this in the replay, thank you for watching as well, and have a wonderful night. Thank you.